We out the projects, baby. Where we gonna live at, son? Central Park West somewhere? What you gonna buy your mama, son? Come on. A big house.
You have a son named Jesus Shuttlesworth? Is your son considered the #1 high school prospect in these United States? Governor's made a request that your son seriously consider enrolling in his alma mater, big state. He'll do everything in his power to cut your time here short.
The movie He Got Game is a basketball cult classic, starring budding NBA player Ray Allen and acting giant Denzel Washington. This Spike Lee joint is filled with esoteric symbolism, and today we will be eyeing out the Easter eggs and deciphering its message, which seems to be more complex than I had originally thought before rewatching the movie with a conscious eye. Hello, and welcome to Sports Vaults, presented by Data Productions, uncovering the untold, lost, and forgotten files of the sports world. Before diving into the breakdown, let's first understand the synopsis of the movie. He Got Game is a 1998 American sports drama film written, produced, and directed by Spike Lee, starring Denzel Washington and Ray Allen. The film revolves around Jake Shuttlesworth, Denzel Washington, father of the top-ranked basketball prospect in the country, Jesus Shuttlesworth, Ray Allen. Jake, imprisoned for killing his wife, is released on parole for a week by the state's governor to persuade his son to play for the governor's alma mater in exchange for a reduced sentence. There is tons of information to go over in regards to this movie. I will try to be informative and very concise. We will be going through the movie in chronological order, but not every theme or topic I discuss will be talked about at length. So please, expand on the subject matter I go over today for yourself and leave some notes in the comment section below so we can go over further. Let's start with the opening scene of the movie where Spike Lee has a montage of people playing basketball around America, getting various scenery and different faces, yet they all have the common denominator of playing basketball. Let's now enter the He Got Game portal. Before deciphering this film, we should understand the underlying themes Spike Lee is trying to convey. One of the biggest themes of the movie is religion, specifically Christianity. In the trailer, it explains this movie is supposed to represent the Holy Trinity, the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. But in this case, we are viewing the Father, the Son, and the holy game of basketball. The main character's first name is Jesus, and he wears a huge decorative cross around his neck the entire movie. Denzel's character, Jake Shuttlesworth, says to Alan's character, Jesus Shuttlesworth, that he has a biblical name.
Jesus! Biblical name.
Jumping to the prison where Jake Shuttlesworth is located, his warden, who offers him a deal from the governor, saying that if he can get his son to sign the letter of intent to Big State U, he can get his sentence reduced. It is also noted that Jake has 7 days to make sure Jesus signs his letter of intent, with emphasis on the 7.
You can see to a deadline for kids to declare is 1 week away. Wait 7 days.
As we jump to the very first pickup game in the movie, they implanted a very familiar alley-oop photo op moment where Jesus' cousin, Booger, throws him an alley-oop off the glass, and then Booger stretches his arms out as a celebration. This looks exactly like the same dunk that Dwayne Wade and LeBron James performed with the Miami Heat years later, and Ray Allen was a part of that team. After the alley-oop dunk, the movie highlights how the Lincoln Rail Splitters won the state championship the year before, off the strength of Jesus. The newspaper says, Jesus saves. Now that the basketball fantasy inside the movie is over, Spike Lee turns the script to a more real, raw, and dark narrative as Jake Shuttlesworth gets out of jail. We are now entering a world we haven't seen yet. The mean streets of Coney Island, New York, New Jack City. Big Time picks the kids up and proceeds to tell them all the pitfalls of being the next potential star to come out of the hood.
My bad. Hey, y'all's education, right? Yeah.
Lala urges Jesus to talk to these basketball agents. These agents were trying to persuade Jesus to sign with them and go into the NBA draft. Jesus jokes with the Italian agent and asks if he works for the mob.
Mafia, that one got it, huh? Mafia, got it. Jesus.
Jesus, just because I'm an Italian American doesn't mean I'm involved with the mob. I'm the best at what I do. I'm a sports agent.
You have to remember, Jesus is still supposed to be a high schooler. So talking like this, I would surmise that the mafia rigging games was a well-known fact in New York. In a future video, I will present a thesis where I believe the rigging of sports goes directly back to the Vatican, and it was no accident that the mob was established to handle the sports industrial complex, especially in the first half of the 1900s. We are now at a point of the movie where we start seeing flashbacks of Jesus' mom, Martha. In a good flashback, Martha remembers a time where Jake and Jesus were training together and having fun. At the dinner table, Jake brings up how many points Jesus scored in his previous game. Again, another 34 connection. It's so repetitive in this movie. In a bad flashback, we finally figure out how Martha dies at the hands of Jake. After a bad training session, Jesus and Jake get into an argument at the dinner table. The argument escalates where pushing and shoving occurs, then Jake shoves Martha and Martha hits her head.
All-time favorite ball player was Earl Monroe. Know the pro? Yeah, he was nice. See, everybody remember from the Knicks, you know, when he helped win that second championship and everything like that, but I'm talking about when he was with the Bullets down Winston-Salem Stadium before that, gave 42 points a game the whole season, 41.6. The Knicks, they put a shackles on him, man. You know, on his whole game, they locked him up like a straight jacket or something. You know what they call him? What? Jesus. That's what they call him, Jesus. Because he was the truth. That's the reason they let me out.
Getting closer to decision day and the end of the movie, Jesus takes a recruiting trip to Tech U, where he is chauffeured around by this current attending basketball player named Chick Deegan, who is being played by Rick Fox, the former LA Laker. Anyways, being a former college athlete, I understand the dynamics of recruiting visits, especially overnight ones. The goal of the school is to show the potential recruit the world of being a collegiate athlete. The finer things in life with plenty of indulgences like alcohol, drugs, and women for the basketball stars. Tech U and Chick Deegan are distractions for Jesus, and they are making the attempt to sway Jesus away from going to the school that would help his father. 66 is an important number in religious terms. We all know the significance of 666, the mark of the beast. But 66 has deep symbolism as well. According to writingthebeast.com, 66 represents the reduction or the loss of the faith to the divine plan. This trip to Tech U is representing the school's attempt to knock the divine plan for Jesus off course. Jesus goes to BSU no matter what. If Jesus wins, he sends his father back to jail if he doesn't choose Big State. Jesus ends up beating Jake, and Jake goes back to prison.
The father of the #1 basketball prospect, Jesus Shuttlesworth, was captured last night in the Coney Island section of Brooklyn, New York, after a week-long manhunt. He had escaped the maximum security Attica State Penitentiary 7 days before. No official word yet on how it escaped.
Not that Uncle Jake will escape when they let him walk out the front gate.
There's gotta be some truth to it. It's in the papers.
But on that Monday, Jesus would decide he would attend Big State University.
For your information, technically, you did not get your son to sign the letter of intent. Hopefully, that's not going to make a difference. We need some time.
In the final scene of the movie, Jake throws a basketball over the prison wall, and Jesus catches the ball falling out of the sky on the BSU court. Jesus then proceeds to look at the sky like the ball came from heaven.